What is going on with Jaylon Johnson? I talked recently about how much of a value his contract was, but he's made some comments suggesting he wants a new contract soon, and the Bears placed him on the non football injury list to start training camp. We also have an Ian Wheeler update and more. Let's go ahead and get right into it. First off, the Bears placed four players on NFI, non football injury list. Jaylon Johnson, Case Keenum, Jade Walker, and Ian Wheeler. Clearly, JJ is the biggest name. I'll talk more about what's going on with him in a second, but the Ian Wheeler news is discouraging. Fans have been waiting for nearly a year for news on last year's popular undrafted rookie free agent and hard knocks standout Ian Wheeler. He tore his ACL in preseason, and the recovery is long, but his inclusion on the NFI list is puzzling. If his injury was related to the torn ACL, he would be on the PUP list, not the non football injury list. This might mean purely speculating here because the team hasn't announced anything, but most likely Ian Wheeler suffered some kind of other injury while attempting his recovery from a torn ACL. This is common in recovery from major injuries, but at this point, we just need to hope that it's something minor and that Ian can get back to camp soon. I am rooting for this dude. The good news is that Theo Benedict's name has not been mentioned, and I know a lot of fans were waiting for an update on him. I'm still hoping he'll be 100% for camp. Theo was a real surprise last year before suffering a season ending injury. He's another intriguing name to watch. But just like Ian Wheeler, both are long shots to make the roster at this point. The other two players that were added to NFI were Case Keenum and UDFA receiver Jade Walker, who I talked about yesterday. I'll update you guys with news on them as soon as it's available. Now let's talk about Jaylon Johnson. I made a video the other day breaking down why JJ had the best value contract in the NFL. In less than 24 hours after I released that video, JJ did an interview and talked about potentially wanting a new contract. Here is what Jaylon Johnson said on the Rich Eisen show. He said, he was watching these other corners get paid, and I almost feel like we're going to have another discussion soon. He laughed it off talking about his contract and said, the market is moving. The market is moving. So, I mean, as long as I keep being myself and keep playing at a high level, there's definitely going to have to be some more conversations coming up soon. This one had a lot to it. It was the first thing that JJ brought up himself when asked about how his offseason was going. Now, this is different than a player usually responding to a question that was asked by a media member. Nobody asked JJ about his contract. He brought it up himself, and he doubled down on the statement. It's clear that Jaylon Johnson wants a new contract. However, don't take it out of context. The biggest point he said was, as long as I keep being myself and playing at a high level, then that is when he would expect some conversations to happen in regards to a new extension. But he has to keep playing at a high level to get there, not hold out or be a distraction to his team. I know some people will run with this story and talk about how JJ is holding out. That is simply not the case. He is expected to report to camp soon. And then that's where it gets fun. JJ has to prove himself on the field this year. Unlike past years where he stayed on one side of the field, JJ will now be following number one receivers around, just like Sauce Gardner does, the best corner in football. If JJ can shut down number one wideouts all year long, stay healthy, and make the Pro Bowl, then yes, a new contract will be coming soon. However, he has 3 years and $61 million remaining on his deal. Normally, I'm not a fan of renegotiating with a player less than 2 years into a new deal. And I do not think there's any chance that Ryan Poles is going to sign JJ to a new deal this season. I think if he has an incredible year, locks down the best receivers in the game, then yes, he probably deserves a new deal. However, he's getting paid $21 million a season over the next 3 years, and right now he needs to help this team win football games. We haven't won anything yet, and JJ's making big money already. Him bringing up the contract extension right before training camp is obviously going to cause a distraction with the Chicago media. You guys know how our media members are. He will definitely be asked about it the next time he does a press conference. And I honestly don't know how to feel about his comments. On one hand, I think he just needs to get out there and play. This is not the time for distractions. On the other hand, I literally just made a video about JJ having the best value contract in the league, and other players as talented as him are getting paid more. His play does stand up to the best corners in football. However, like I said, he has stayed on one side of the field. If he can take his game up a notch and lock down number one wide receivers, I get it. He'll need to be paid. But he's only 1 year into a 4 year contract and already one of the highest paid players on our entire roster. He needs to lead by example and not be bringing up his contract extension every chance he gets. Honestly, that's been a bit disappointing to hear. And if you look at it from the Bears' perspective, what is the point of giving these players contracts if they want a new one 1 year later? That is the whole point of getting the deal done early. And honestly, I love JJ as a player, but he's talked about money to the media more than any Bears player I can remember in recent memory. It's starting to wear thin on me a bit. JJ was a favorite of mine, and his talent is undeniable. But in my opinion, you should let your play speak for yourself. That's all I got today, guys. Let me know in the comments how you feel about the recent reports. Training camp is underway, and football is right around the corner. If my mic does not sound great today, I am having some issues, but I have a new mic on the way. Please remember to hit that like button for me. Stay tuned, and until next time, bear down.